For a supposed Terrion Arnold faced a judge for the first time in Florida today. There you see him wearing that suicide vest. This is for an armed robbery and kidnapping case. Prosecutors accuse Arnold of coordinating and directing an armed robbery and kidnapping against several people. This was in retaliation for a supposed theft at his rental home. Prosecutors say the victims, though, were robbed, beaten, and pistol whipped before their property was taken. Arnold was the seventh person arrested in this case. He was denied bond, along with all six of his co-defendants, but Arnold's team says he categorically denies any involvement at all. A pretrial hearing is set for Monday, and joining me now to make sense of this is attorney Lillian Diallo. Lillian, a lot to unpack here. Thank you so much for joining us. I think, first of all, we got to start with the fact that Terrion is accused of coordinating and directing this robbery and kidnapping, not necessarily being physically present, although some more evidence is coming out that he may have been there. What does that distinction mean for his exposure in this case?
So if he's there or not there, he's charged with conspiracy. Conspiracy means two or more people came together to say, hey, we're going to plan this or execute this. So with the robbery armed, his exposure is life. What that means is there was some kind of taking from a person, either with a weapon or someone thought that there was a weapon present. Kidnapping means you move the person from one place to another place, be it 1 inch, be it to a room, be it off-site. It's the movement of a person illegally.
And again, he's accused of orchestrating it, not necessarily doing it himself. And that's the conspiracy charges.
That's what the conspiracy is. They must prove the conspiracy first, though, before they can go any further.
Arnold's attorneys are pointing to the fact that the government's key witnesses are convicted felons who may be seeking reduced sentences. How powerful would that argument be in front of a jury?
Powerful, right? I hope they have some independent basis, because people come to court all the time for their own reasons and tell lies or stories, right? I need to see something else that gets them to what the informant is saying, something that's going to corroborate it other than self-help.
Prosecutors also say that Arnold believed the victim stole more than $200,000, but around $250,000 worth of stuff. Whether or not that's true or not, how does that play into this case?
That would be motive, right? Motive to do whatever it is that allegedly happened. And remember, these are all just allegations. The man is innocent until and unless he's proven guilty. I just wish that he would have taken the advice. You can't be around people that have less to lose than you. They have to have the same amount or more to lose to be around. That's what I always told my children.
You know what? That is great advice. And unfortunately, that advice doesn't seem to have gotten to Terrion Arnold. And now he's in this heap of trouble.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Innocent until proven guilty, but still a big mess in front of him. Thank you so much, Lillian. We really appreciate your take.
First here.
Okay, so I'm going to give y'all a quick breakdown of this. So Terrion Arnold, the Detroit Lions cornerback, was arrested 2 days ago. June 20th, has sent shockwaves through the NFL, facing 4 counts of armed robbery and 4 counts of kidnapping in Florida. The 23-year-old defensive back faces a maximum penalty of life in prison. Now, I did a little of the situation, but I have been trying to watch videos and also do some articles and search through some articles to try to piece this all together. Okay, so the alleged catalyst to it. So apparently this is a retaliation going wrong. Okay, here are some high point key takeaways before I get to the next video from the developments of this case so far. Okay, number one, the incident stems from a February 1st, 2026 burglary of a Largo, Florida Airbnb rented by Arnold and his associates. Over $250,000 in personal property, including $100,000 in cash, $80,000 and a $80,000 necklace were stolen. Arnold reportedly suspected a hired private driver and his associates of being behind the heist. While police eventually investigated and officially cleared the driver, authorities allege Arnold chose not to wait and instead orchestrated a vigilante trap. The innocent victims, Tampa police have explicitly stated that the 3 victims targeted in a subsequent kidnapping and assault had absolutely nothing to do with the initial burglary. So I'm going to get to this second video.
Terrion Arnold, cornerback for the Detroit Lions, faces charges in connection to an armed robbery and kidnapping in Tampa.
He turned himself in last night and made his first court appearance this afternoon. Fox 13's Kylie Jones joins us live with the latest details on the case. Kylie.
Well, Linda, prosecutors have repeatedly said that Terrion Arnold was behind this alleged attack. But today in court, his attorney said that he absolutely denies all of the allegations. Prosecutors call it a tangled web of defendants who all
I will say my reactions towards the end.
trace back to NFL cornerback Terrion Arnold.
He plays cornerback for the Detroit Lions.
That's correct.
And then these other people that we're going to talk about in terms of suspects, are they all in some way, shape, or form sort of connected to him?
Yes.
These 6 are charged in connection with an armed robbery and kidnapping in Tampa. As each one has appeared in court over the last several months, detectives have testified that Arnold orchestrated it. It all started back in February.
A gentleman named Terrion Arnold, defendants in this case in Largo.
Police said Arnold reported that more than $250,000 worth of valuables had been stolen from that Airbnb he rented.
Mr. Arnold and the listed co-defendants then decided on their own that the victims in this case were responsible for the theft of the property.
Prosecutors say Arnold directed Jasmine Randazzo and Ariana Del Valle to lure the suspected thieves to an apartment in.
And I think one of these individuals is 19. I don't know who. I think I don't have it in my notes, but
Tampa, where Lindell Hudson and Christian Williams were waiting. Detectives say they held the 3 male victims in their late teens at gunpoint and pistol whipped them while streaming it back to Freddie Hughes, Boakai Hilton, and Arnold before they got to the apartment. Police say the victims had no connection to Arnold's stolen belongings.
I don't care if you play for the NFL or if you're a sanitation worker. We're going to hold you accountable if you come into Hillsborough County and commit a crime. No one is above the law, and no one has the right to take the law into their own hands.
The others were arrested back in February and March.
gotta be careful with people you associate yourself with. If they ain't got this much, it's the same. These people are up to no good, for real. Okay. It looked like it wouldn't take much to get any one of them to flip. I wonder, did these people see the Julio Fulio trial case play out? And I wonder if Terrion Arnold seen the same thing. They don't play in Florida.
Randazzo and Del Valle pleaded guilty on Wednesday. Arnold turned himself in Wednesday night and made a first appearance over video conference on Thursday afternoon.
In reviewing the pre-trial detention order and the charges, it appears that much, if not all, of these charges against my client rely on the testimony of 2 co-defendants who entered pleas recently. We would ask that the court have the government give us a copy of those pleas prior to the detention hearing.
In an earlier statement, Arnold's
do that.
Management team said, quote, the government appears to be relying on testimony from multiple convicted felons who have admitted their own involvement and may have substantial incentives to shift blame in an effort to lessen their sentences. The NFL cornerback is facing charges for armed robbery and kidnapping and is expected back in court on Monday. The judge denied that request for a copy of those other defendants' pleas for now. Arnold is expected back again in court on Monday morning, and he will stay in jail until then. Guys.
Kylie Jones reporting live for us. Thank you.
Okay. So I got some more things to add. Put me back on the screen, coach. There we go. So according to the attorney, Lillian Diallo, if I'm saying it correctly, he wasn't even in the room, according to the police. He was allegedly watching a live stream of the attack. But as attorney Lillian points out, under conspiracy charge, the law treats the mastermind exactly the same as the guys pulling the trigger. He's in massive trouble. Again, innocent to proven guilty. I'm going to try to maintain balance and be fair. But if this is proven true, you ain't no way you play NFL again. And instead of you training, working out, preparing for the 2026 NFL season, now you're going to be literally fighting for your life. Okay. So here's some things that I don't know if my people probably aware of or not. So the primary conspiracy designation, Tampa police are not treating Arnold as a passive bystander or secondary accomplice. Investigators have labeled him the primary co-conspirator or conspirator. Okay. Ain't nobody listen. The ones, even if I know the attorney, I know he's like, hey, we need to see the pleas of what these people are. And listen, nobody ain't finna do no time for you. They not finna do life for you. instead of you just letting the law enforcement handle the matter, you decided to say, I'm going to throw away my millions of dollars. Ain't nobody going to take my stuff and whatever. And then the people that you robbed, the people that you strong-armed, they didn't have anything to do with it. They were clear. The 3 individuals were clear, and they had nothing to do with it. So you got that. So investigators have labeled Arnold as the primary conspirator of the entire operation. Okay. You the one got the money, you got the motion, you got the name, you got everything. Boom. Point you out. The state alleges that Arnold and an associate coordinated the logistics of the trap, specifically directing 2 female co-defendants to contact and lure the victims to a Tampa apartment under false pretenses. The digital smoking gun here, the group chats, and the live stream. If this case goes to trial, which 9 times out of 10 probably is going to go to trial, the prosecutors will rely heavily. I'm just trying to present. They're going to rely on the digital trail, essentially, rather than just eyewitness testimony. Okay, so according to the documents, the 3 victims were being ambushed, pistol whipped, held at gunpoint inside the bedroom closet by 2 armed men. A co-defendant was actively live streaming the assault to Arnold and others as they traveled to the apartment. Now, again, just because he wasn't there, okay, conspiracy. So they said the same thing. If somebody pulled the trigger and shot one of them and killed one of them, he gets looped into that. He gets indicted. He gets funneled in as well. Investigators recovered the group chat containing all co-defendants, all of them. Prosecutors allege Arnold was actively given real-time directions. And when I heard that, I said, this sounds familiar. This sounds like the Julio Fulio thing. Sounds now, again, nobody didn't get killed, but still the setup, the staging of things sounds similar. The attackers inside the apartment doing the beating. Police state that after the assault, several of the armed suspects fled the scene in a vehicle driven by Arnold. Okay. So the trigger for the arrest. Okay. So the timing of the arrest, of Arnold's arrest on Wednesday night, was not random. It occurred just hours after 2 key co-defendants, Ariana and Jasmine, agreed to formal plea deals with the Hillsbury County State Attorney Office. Again, nobody ain't finna go down, ain't finna do a lot of time for you. Nope. People trying to get home. I think one of them got 4 years. Gonna be serving 4 years in prison. Okay. So the strategy, the prosecutor strategy is, this is a classic top-down prosecution by securing plea deals with the individuals who lured the victims. The state secured direct inside testimony to pin the conspiracy charges on Arnold. 6 other individuals has already been arrested prior to Arnold turning himself in. He's in massive trouble. Massive trouble. Again, he's maintain his innocence, but he is in massive trouble. Okay. So what the defense counter offense could be is, Arnold's legal representation has launched immediate defense of his innocence, absolutely, as they should, seeking to undermine the credibility of the state's star witnesses. The snitch defense. So essentially somebody snitched on him, flipped on him, whatever and all that. His sports management, released a statement, okay, that they rely heavily on the testament of multiple convicted felons who have substantially life-altering alternatives to shift blame and fabricate stories to lessen their severe sentences, okay? Which that could be, that couldn't, they got an angle, they got to play hard into that angle, whatnot. Because this wasn't like something they just started. This was an incident that went back in February. So they've been investigating this since. And I think Arnold before name got brought up into this or whatnot, but just, I guess it cleared him, whatever, on that. But allegedly or supposedly it cleared him. And then, eventually come around, it's just like, something's not right here. Okay. Also, the no physical presence. Now, this, if the prosecution can show the group chats and live stream, things to think about. The defense will likely lean to the fact that Arnold was not physically in the room holding the gun. But again, under Florida law, this is, like I said, attempting to distance himself from the violent acts committed by his associates. Sounds like some mob stuff, right? So that's what the defense, that's what his, again, this man in the fight of his life. Now, for the NFL and the Detroit Lions consequences. Now, he got drafted 2 years ago. So he's supposed to be entering his third year. So he got drafted in 2024. Still on his rookie contract. So Arnold still has 2 years left and roughly $4.8 million guaranteed money on the contract. God, man. See, you supposed to be working on trying to get another contract. If the Lions release him for purely performance reasons, they would be on the hook for the massive dead cap, which they're not going to release him right now. They're going to let this play all the way out. So he's going to be more likely to be suspended. However, a suspension or conviction under the NFL personal conduct policy will completely void those financial guarantees, allowing the Lions to recoup their money. So this is a waiting game. This is a waiting game here. This is a waiting game. Like I say, again, on the show, and my audience, my subscribers, and my future subscribers, viewers, new viewers coming in, I have this thing. It still means the same thing. I always say, with the stories I react to, we be hilarious and we clown around, but I try to ask the insightful questions and give some measured thoughts. Make sure you audit your life. Life audits it for you, or the world audits it for you. You have to make sure that you audit your circle. And see, this is a sidebar because I remember, because one of the best things that happened with Terrion was Terrion got baptized. Jason Wilson, I remember it was on. I was like, oh great! I'm an Alabama fan. I remember these players, and I know he was big. Nick Saban, love all his players, but couldn't get enough of Terrion. Now, this is a separate matter. He's in a fight of his life. This was a bad thing. This is a massive thing to do, to get yourself into. Okay. It's a massive thing. Now, I know in the Bible, Christians are persecuted, and we're persecuted for righteous sake. I know that Saul, who became Paul, who became one of the best apostles, he was sending Christians off to the believers off to their deaths until his road to Damascus. Jesus popped in and said, hey, Saul. Now, I'm trying to summarize this to say that those times were different. You can do that and come back from, Terrion can come back. But again, he's in the fight of his life. And this is the things you can get yourself into. Okay? Because people are taking penitentiary chances. He could have just waited and, again, let the law handle it. Go handle your business. You shouldn't even be putting yourself in these things that don't pertain to you, because now this potentially ruins your career. This is a devastating tragedy for a former first-round pick who had an illustrious career. Even if he do plead something less or go to trial and something, still he don't have no immediate NFL future. His NFL future right now is on hold, and maybe on hold for good. We got to make better choices, people. We got to stay out of trouble. Okay. We got to stop. No. People still find a way to keep the wrong kind of people around them. And if you kept the same, even if you're not there, start practicing like you're there already. And if you got some, divest yourself from it. Start separating yourself from it. Whether it's family or friends, start disassociating yourself from it. Start. Please. Okay? Because one bad decision, that's all it takes. One bad night. One lucky, was Kendrick Lamar say, one lucky night with the homies. One night, that one night can determine what the rest of your life gonna be. 23 years old. And I had this thing when I used to come up, I say this as a 35-year-old man. I started saying, that was somebody who was 30. That was somebody that was 31. Past is the past, but they should have determined that they weren't going to let their past determine their future. And I always kept that in mind, because we always say, oh, these people don't money. These people, the system. You can't blame the system. You cannot blame none of that shit. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of it at all. I don't want to hear it. People keep landing themselves in bad situations every day. I report on it every single day. I react to it every single day. There's no shortage of it. We protect the worst among us. Now, in this particular case, there wasn't no protecting this guy, because they were like, oh, hell no. Like I said in my Julio Fulio, I'm going to do a separate video, a full video on the Julio Fulio as well coming up. because I talked a little bit about it on my show, on the Night Audit show. Tap into that as well. There is no honor amongst thieves, and there's no honor amongst killers. I say it again for the folks in the back. There is no honor amongst thieves, and there's no honor amongst killers. This is not. All right, so that's all I have for this. So again, make sure you hit the like button, comment, subscribe, rate, and review. Make sure you tap into the show, the Night Audit. I drop episodes pretty much every other day, Monday through Fridays. But again, let me know what your thoughts are on this. Let me know what the sentiments are. Until then, I will catch you on the next one. Peace. And stay out of trouble.